Hey there. So someone had asked about the 357 project on YouTube in one of the comment sections on the Valve video. Here's the finished rifle. It's been finished for quite some time now. It is green in color. I call it the Hulk, but it's a side pump rifle. So that works. I don't have a cock, so it won't hold the air right now. Charge it. Right here. That's how it charges. Safety on. And then loading gate, the bolt assembly. It is on a detent where prevents the bolt from flopping around. But this one uses a Benjamin Rodder trigger pack, trigger group assembly. Benjamin Bulldog barrel, and the rest of the components I machined. The stock was from a 2260 that I re-inlet to fit this 1.25" tube. It's a pretty big size pump tube. 20 pumps is what it takes to shoot a 85 grain pellet at about 810 feet per second. They shoot a 120 grain slug right about 700 feet per second. The barrel's pretty long on it. I did take it down a little bit from the factory Bulldog length. I was going to thread the end of it here so I can put muzzle brakes and cans and things like that on it. But here it is. It's quite fun to shoot. So, yeah, it's a fun little toy. Here's another one I built in the interim of finishing that gun. This is a 30 cal. This one uses a QB 78 breech. I'm using an FX smooth twist barrel. Quite pricey for the barrel for what it is. It was like $120. But the way I designed this, I'll unthread the barrel support here. I don't know if I can. Anyway, the barrel is suspended in this tube. I made a new breech end that would fit this breech the barrel slips into, and it's all retained, held captive, because this outer barrel threads on, much like the FX air guns. It is suspended in here. There's a few spacers to keep it centered. Let's see if I can get it undone. Oh, there we go. So, threads like this. Give it a... Sorry, my allergies are acting up. This is just the aluminum tube. Here's the barrel. An FX smooth twist. I did take it down just a few inches. Here's the end. I'll show you what that looks like. There's an abutment seal in here that this rests up against to prevent air leakage. Now the distance from the muzzle to here is rather precise, so that way the barrel locks down. It's not really floating back and forth in the chamber. Just thread it back on. There. The lower, I machined this lower, uses AR pistol grips, uses AR buffer tubes and stocks. The buffer tube is just more for the stock. It serves no purpose as far as any recoil spring. Machine this in so the buffer tube could thread into it. And this is steel. The lower, it should look familiar to a lot of you if you play paintball. Well, that's exactly what I designed it after. Same pinhole placement all the way down to the safety. All the placement's the same, essentially. The only difference is I machined this for my purpose, because the footprint of the mounting holes are actually about a ½ inch different than any paintball grip out there. I didn't want to have to use an extra big paintball grip to do this, so this is a one-off design. The pump lever, this is an under lever. This I purchased from Air Force Air Guns. This is an Air Force Air Guns 4-end that I slotted it and machined it up to fit this pump lever. So I'll show you how this one works. This gun actually cocks when you use the bolt, like a traditional air rifle or firearm. Just like that. So, same type of valve as the other one that I did a video on, with the did a little different modifications, but essentially the same. But this is for 30 cal, and just the way this one pumps. The handle is integrated into the frame. So and this one, 15 pumps will get the job done. 15 pumps. This will send a 30 cal pellet around 930 feet per second. I like pumpers because they're self-contained units. They don't need external air or anything like that. The downside is you gotta use your muscles to pump them. So, but they're not terribly difficult. This you can pump, all day. It's the way the leverage is, the length of this, and the way the leverage works out. The mechanical advantage, it's pretty easy. The same with the 357. But here's this one. I do have a scope that I put on here. I have it off right now. But this one shoots nicely. I made the pins in the front captive, so they don't go anywhere. Have 3 screws radially around this end cap, which is steel, and then the pivot pin is captive. Makes it a nice clean look, but this one needs finished. Finish as in bake on paint, things like that, or maybe even just the steel blew it. This end piece, this is Parkerized. The end plug is Parkerized. I don't have a big enough apparatus to Parkerize the pump tube, and plus Parkerization changes surface dimension a little bit by making it extremely porous, and I don't know how that would affect the cylinder inside, because I hone these tubes to where they're a pretty much a near mirror finish. They're super smooth, get out any imperfections and things like that. And because when you have a sliding O-ring, you want as smooth as possible surface. But there's that. That's how she works. Very straightforward, very simple. Pumper gun, 30 cal.